Charoli really started because, I was so tired of Rajasthan kind of taking over royalty. Everything royal, everything heritage, everything with history has to happen only in the state of Rajasthan. They've done really well with what they've done in terms of tourism. But we had royalty across the country. So we actually specialize in the royal cuisine of the Malwa region, not just Malwa cuisine. These are two very, very different things because the locals of Malwa eat your dal bafla, poha jalebi, a larger vegetarian fare. The royal food that we work with at Charoli is the food of the Rajputs, of the Marathas, of the Begums of Bhopal, is the food that you got in the palaces. And because the next generation has kind of stepped out of that region and, they've settled in different parts of the world, literally. Unfortunately, what has happened is these glorious royal recipes have slowly disappeared. There is the Gwalior family that has managed to keep a lot going in the palace. But again, it's only for when you kind of go visit, stay in the Jaivilas Palace. Something that everybody might not ever really do. You might not travel to Gwalior, And so where are you getting this food? I was born in Indore. My grandfather from my mother's side, my Nana Saab, was the first handwriting and firearms expert and was friends with the royalty of the region, he himself being a zamindar from Vidarbha, settled here. So that's the food that we grew up eating. And that is the food that's also disappearing. We started with pop-ups. I started my career in advertising. I moved to the family business. And when pop-up started, I still was a part of it. And then there came a time where I said, nothing makes me happier than feeding people. I love it. I love being able to cook. I love being able to feed. Now that it's a bigger setup, the monies have come into play, and so I do a little bit of the accounts and, the Swiggy, Zomato, Instagram, which is now a big part of building a brand. And that's how your day just kind of goes. People of the city have really loved some of the stuff that we do at Charoli. Our biryanis, which we do the Bhopal ways, we do something called the Begum Ki Biryani, which is the Bhopali way of making the mutton biryani, or we do the Murg Bhopali biryani. Kebabs are really appreciated. Our curries are very, very unique. Our mutton pulaus are loved a lot. Our Maas ka halwa is a huge hit because people can't kind of understand how are you making a dessert from mutton. So Maas ka halwa was cooked for young princes. Back in the day, historically, when they had to kind of, their learning was Shastra. So they kind of also learnt all the weapons, and there was a lot of physical activity, ghud savari, a lot of physical activity that they had to do. Like today's children, if you had to bribe them and you had to make them eat something, you give them anything meetha. Just exactly like that, the young princes who would be fussy eaters. So, to trick them, the Maas ka halwa really came into being. मीठा है तो खा लेते थे खुशी खुशी और प्रोटीन है तो ताकत आ जाती थी. Also, we're very, very enthusiastic about having seasonal recipes that we kind of keep changing in the menu. We do something called the 21 item feast, which is the Royal Dashera feast. Likewise, when Diwali happens, we cook a feast with recipes that were traditionally cooked on that festival in the royal kitchens. When we do Christmas, especially with the Holkars, was celebrated a lot because the Maharani was American. So, this very unique, so you will have a very unique shepherd's pie that is made with Indian masalas in it. There was a lot of research that had to be done. I kind of studied the history of the food in the region, the history of individual dynasties, of individual states, of what is grown in the region. It's such a never-ending process that even today I feel I'm still researching. यहाँ से obviously next step हमारा होगा to open more delivery kitchens. But at some point in the future, we also are looking at a sit-down dining experience because the khatirdari is such an important part of eating like royalty. I also am working on documenting these recipes and hopefully at some point also kind of come out with a book.